All right, the record has started. Now we're gonna have the photo sessions. I think we have 89 participants, so we're gonna have the photo sessions at the beginning first and at the end of the sessions. So please everyone to turn on your camera so that have a happy smile in the morning of today Sunday for our documentations and use the background. All right, I see the smile from everyone. I think it's very good Sunday morning in Indonesia. All right, all right. I see some of us already turned on the camera. We're gonna wait maybe 1 minute or maybe 30 seconds for others to turn on the camera. Okay, okay. All right. I think I'm gonna start to take the picture for the first slide. So for the first slide, everyone who gonna in my screen start from the count on three. We're gonna take the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, first slide is done. Gonna have the second slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. And then the third slide. Smile, please. And the last one, the fourth slide. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who has turned on their camera. Please, if you don't mind to stay engaged with your camera on during our sessions. And for the next one, we're gonna have our opening speaker from Dr. Oki Muraza. However, I'm gonna start introducing. Let me introduce our opening speaker for today. Dr. Oki Muraza is currently serving as the Senior Vice President of Technology Innovations at Pertamina Persero. He brings with him a remarkable academic and professional background. He earned his bachelor degree in chemical engineering from Institut Teknologi Bandung (ITB), his master from the Delft University of Technology, and completing his PhD in chemical engineering from the Eindhoven University of Technology. So we are honored to have him with us today to officially open this insightful webinar. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Oki Muraza. Dr. Oki Muraza, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mas Dandi. Very good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to greet Mas Dandi Alvayed as the organizer, and then the other speaker, I think, Agus Budiyono, Bu Yunita Dyah, and then Pak Ardian Nengkoda. I'm very honored to be part of this morning activities, yeah, including Mas or Pak Rian Fadhilah, yeah. So we are going to have few speakers moderated by Bu Yunita Dyah and Mas Dandi Alvayed, Pak Rian Fadhilah, Pak Dr. Ardian Nengkoda, dan Dr. Agus Budiyono. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we all agree that the classical petroleum engineering needs to have additional and updated knowledge to be incorporated to the body of the knowledge of the petroleum engineering. That's why today basically we are going to see some of the advancements on specific topics on robotics and autonomous systems. And I think we agree that for this oil and gas industry, which has been going on for more than 100 years. We need to have advanced technology. To some extent, some of the knowledge that we have is already reaching the S curve. It's facing the stagnant positions. So with the new toolbox that we have, with the needs to have better sustainability, better efficiency, better operational excellence, and to face the complexity in the explorations, complexity in the productions, we need to have better solutions. Therefore, we need to have new stream of knowledge and new stream of toolbox which can be incorporated to our daily life. So, for instance, in state-owned enterprise in Pertamina, we all agree that with the challenge that we have on the needs to have competitive technology, we are also exploring the implementations of robotics systems in a number of our topics. So basically, we believe that there is a potentials to have better and practical implementations with the technology that we have in robotics and also in autonomous systems. So in Pertamina Group, basically we are adopting the technology as part of a big step in order to improve at least four things. The first one is to have improved safety in order to protect our workers, our teams for high-risk tasks and high-risk environment. Then the second one is basically we are trying to have better efficiency. We can do automations on a number of repetitive tasks. We can optimize the workflows. We can minimize the downtime, especially in drilling, etc. So basically, by having automations for repetitive works, by optimizing the workflow and by minimizing the downtime, we can expect to have a better efficiency. Then the third one is basically to fully utilize data-driven decisions. So as you know that we have a good number of data for so many operations. So basically by combining analytics from robotics, we can get better decisions and faster decisions. Then the fourth one is basically we try to be kinder to the planet. So basically by having the robotics systems or autonomous systems, there is a chance for us to reduce the carbon footprint. So by implementing this technology, we can also monitor the emissions. We can also record our emissions more precisely. Of course, there are hope and also hype, yeah, for every new technology. So basically, within this time, basically we try to find opportunities, yeah. So we are exploring a number of implementations based on the robotic and autonomous systems in such a way that we can get those four objectives: enhance safety, improve efficiency, utilizing the data-driven decisions, and sustainability. With this, basically by incorporating the new advancements on automations, on the robotic, we can have integrated end-to-end systems with the better efficiency. And we expect that basically we can have safe operations, not only for oil and gas, but also for geothermal. So basically, we have also drone-based studies for our geothermal research. With this, I would like to thanks to the organizer and also for the participants. Hopefully, we can have fruitful and beneficial meetings, virtual meeting today to improve our knowledge. And then, of course, basically to have the implementations of robotic and autonomous systems in the oil and gas in Indonesia. And of course, this is considering the speakers that we have is also internationals. Hopefully, this will help us to nurture and to grow our manpower, not only in Indonesia, but also worldwide. Thank you very much. And I wish you all a successful webinar. And I'm looking forward to get new knowledge and engagement with all speakers and participants. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for the astonishing speech from Dr. Oki Muraza. Very insightful to guide us from today's event. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as part of SPE's commitment to advancing knowledge sharing and collaboration across disciplines, today's webinar will highlight how robotics and autonomous systems are transforming the oil and gas sector, from subsurface monitoring to surface operations marine technology. Over the next 90 minutes, we will delve into the latest trend in robotics and autonomy, drone application and upstream and downstream operations, and review unmanned marine vehicle technologies. To guide us through these exciting discussions, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator for today's sessions, Ms. Yunita, Senior Staff in the Productions and Facilities Maintenance Divisions at SKK Migas and Senior Production Engineer at Harbor Energy, and one of the outstanding member of SPE RIS Asia Pacific 2025. She holds a bachelor degree in petroleum engineering from Institut Teknologi Bandung and brings with her extensive experience in upstream operations and projects coordinations. With that, I now hand over the screen to Miss Yunita Dyah to begin the first sessions. Miss Yunita Dyah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dandi. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on robotics and autonomous system. We are thrilled to have you all to join us for what promises to be an engaging and insightful session exploring the technologies that are shaping our future, from intelligent machines to autonomous platforms, transforming oil and gas industries for nowadays. And just a disclaimer, we know this is an SPE webinar, but we're supposed to speak English, but since we're Indonesians, I guess we're also okay to have 20% Indonesians and 80% English if we would like to discuss in furthermore. Okay, so before we begin, I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to our three distinguished speakers, Dr. Ardian Nengkoda, Mr. Fadhilah, and Dr. Agus Budiyono. The first session will be delivered by Dr. Ardian Nengkoda. He will talk about the latest trend in robotics and autonomous system in oil and gas industry. He is currently a petroleum engineering SME in Saudi Aramco. He is also in spare time as a SPE Robotics and Autonomous Regional Director in Asia Pacific. He holds Bachelor Engineering degree in Gas and Petrochemical Engineering in University of Indonesia, had his Master in Chemical Engineering, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and Borås, Sweden University, had his Doctoral of Chemical Engineering in Universitas Gadjah Mada, and lastly, he also holds professional engineering atau profesi insinyur from Petroleum Engineering in ITB. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Prof. Ardian Nengkoda, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ibu Yunita, Dyah, and also our MC today, Mas Dandi. My great and warmest regards to my colleague, Bapak Dr. Oki Muraza from Pertamina as Senior VP Research and Technology. And of course, second things, I would like to welcome to my colleague, Mas Rian, as a drone expert in Saudi Arabia, and Dr. Agus from Institute Technology Bandung, and all of you are really amazing. Thank you so much to all participants that can, give it a spare time, right, during your weekend. Today is not only the first event of a SPE robotic and autonomous in Asia Pacific in Jakarta, especially, but also the first day where we celebrate a coincidence with the birth of a Pancasila. So I think we are all here with an excitement to hear more from all of the speakers, and then hopefully, we can learn something new at least, right? Or if you knew already heard about the robotics, I think it's also good to see how this technology are currently implementing across our oil and gas industry. Just to highlight an opening session, an opening speech from Dr. Oki Muraza a couple minutes ago, he mentions about the response, right? The current ongoing Pertamina in a robotic and autonomous technology domain, where it can improve the safety, operation efficiency, and also sustainability. So I will touch base a little bit detail on that subject. So let me share my screen now. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. So Mbak Uni, you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
Aman,
we
aman.
can see.
Yeah, all right, okay. So let me start. When I heard the robotic in petroleum engineering, or when I heard the first time around 3 years ago, the application of robotic in oil and gas industry, I almost never believe, right? So because the traditional petroleum engineering are talking about reservoir engineering, right? Drilling engineering, operations, right? And then, of course, also heavy with the drilling and completion and so on. Then I realized that this technology are exactly matched, especially because our operation are heavily involved with the risk situations, improving our efficiency and so on. So at that time, around 3 years ago, I do believe that, okay, let me, spend a time, learn more, what's going on about this technology. Of course, we like, digitalization, we like playing, games, robotic, and so on and so on. We have seen very tremendous effort, a new technology from Boston, Dynamic, for example, right? Like humanoid and so on. So at that time, I met Rian, for example, in Saudi Arabia. He led such as a drone technology application in
Voice was stopped.
overview
Lost
didn't hear
connection.
about it itself. Okay.
Okay.
So my presentation, yeah, including the inspections. So I'm very glad to share that we presented this a highlight during the Artificial Intelligence Symposium in Dhahran around 3 months ago. So the author of this paper is myself and also our colleague from SIPEM in London, Mrs. Christina Maras, and also Ibu Yunita Dyah from Harbor Energy SKK Migas. So let me start with the content of my presentations. I will highlight first what is the background, and then what is the technology that we are talking about in terms of the robotic and autonomous. And then I will also deliver the challenges and the opportunity. So it's not only, as mentioned by Bapak Oki before, maybe there is some area where we need to explore and learn more to be applied within the oil and gas and energy industry. And then lastly, I will highlight also one of the example that currently happening. It's not a hoax, it's not a fake, but currently happening within the offshore domain. So, ladies and gentlemen, the participant of our webinar today, let me start with the background. So first of all, of course, you heard about the robotic, but at least there is a three area the robotic application so far. One is the the robotic in the air, right? Area, we call it a drone. So it's and then the second thing is of course the ROV, the remote operating vehicle, which is applied as a tools in the offshore. And then lastly, in the land application, which is maybe a four legs or humanoid or a tractor type of the robot. So it's happening right now within oil and gas industry. And then the applications are increased over the time. The problem statement that we found so far is there is still a lack of clarity in the future specific of use case, what is the benefit, right? How to operate, and then what is the potential technology in the near future. And then, of course, I will also share some of the application of this robotic in supporting oil and gas upstream facilities, operation, and also inspection. So in this slide, I will explain with the picture, with some of the visualization in your right, side. The technology is covering, the tools, right? Tools, a hardware and the software. So the main purpose is to improve the efficiency of our operations, including the maintenance, inspections, taking a real-time data, more safely, right? Including safety, of course, and also sustainability. I will explain a little bit in the next slide, one of the example. And then the typical example is very wide right now, started from the drilling, like a drill robot, which is quite very popular in the North Sea and also in offshore UK. Operation and maintenance, right? It's very popular right now that the drone can inspect the lengthy pipeline in terms of the leaking, integrity issue, and so on. And then survey, right? So survey, inspection, and monitoring have been used from, to support, for example, the seismic activity, right? Like an aerial, survey, inspection, and also monitoring, and including the manufacturing and material handling. So there is some robotic that are been used to paint the internal part of the pipeline, something like that. So in your right side, you can see some of the picture that was not really fake. So it's true, right? So there is, in the aerial side, there is a technology such as a drone or mini copter. There is another drone type which is very much more reliable with a fixed wing. It can reach 100 kilometers or more. And then there is subsea applications such as ROV or AUV. And then there is a land ground robotic application such as lag, right? You have seen many times a viral video or picture from Boston Dynamics, such an example. There is another robot in your home, right? To clean our house as a cleaner or a crawler and so on. So this is a technology itself which is currently ongoing, and then we use it in many cases. And then, of course, as a petroleum engineering, we ask ourselves, what is the robotic inside? What kind of hardware or software content inside of these tools? So let me explain a little bit the component inside of the every robot, okay? Either drone or ROV in the subsea, and also, a leg type, ground robotic. So every robot should have at least 4 or 5 components. The key components, of course, is the controller, and then inside of the controller there is a power, right? So because every robot, they need a power system. They also need to have an actuator, sensors, and also the manipulator. So all of these are also provided with the human interface tools such as a UIA, something like that. So in your right side, there was an example where, the kids or ourselves is using, a robot as a games in everyday basis. So this is one of the example of the tractor type of the robotic that currently used in our industry. So that's the components of the every robot. And then let me also share with you the pictures, right? The pictures of an example of the robot that currently we are using across our oil and gas industry and also energy. So in your left side on the top, there was 4 legs, right? Like a robotic from the Boston Dynamic. In the middle, there's a robot inside of the pipeline. So this robot is doing a painting. There is an internal special painting that been used in our oil and gas pipeline to serve, sour gas or sour oil, something like that. And then in your right side, there is a drone, right? So drones are flying around within the offshore platform facility. This is an example from Abu Dhabi and also from Saudi Arabia. And then in your left, right, at the bottom, there was a tractor type robot, which is being used currently in offshore. That's an example from a PTTEP in Thailand offshore. And then, of course, another quite very popular is the ROV and inspecting the subsea pipeline application. So how this latest technology are applied, for example, at the upstream wellhead or Christmas tree inspection. So basically, they can help in terms of the wellhead maintenance, such as greasing, painting, plugging, and some of the drone can help, doing such as real-time surveillance to check if there is some leaking or growth of the well, and also taking some data, both aerial or at the platform itself, and also at the subsea. And then least people knows that the drone also can provide the 3D scan, thermal footprint. It can zooming on a certain facility or equipment to spot any crack or pitting or other anomaly. So in your right side, you can be excited that that's a picture of the robot that currently been used within oil and gas industry. And then, of course, next topic that's quite very interesting for all of us is what is the challenges, right? So we observe the challenges are so far really happening in terms of the cost. Of course, the cost is most of these robotic are expensive, right? And then we need to be carefully hiring it, and then in terms of reducing the operating costs directly. So before we hire any robotic services, typically we as an operating company, we derive such as pro and cons, what's the economic benefit and so on. And then we also observe a skill gaps. So Pak Rian and also Pak Dr. Agus later will highlight this. What kind of skill, right, we need to have, what kind of training and certification, because not every drone or every robotic can be applied, very easy. There is some expectation from the government, right, from the local authority, how to operate, any drone, for example. And then what is the automation impact, right? Of course, we as a student, for example, we are afraid that the robot will replace our skill, right, our work. Is there true story that the robot will replace human, for example? So I think that need to be carefully, observed and analyzed. And then lastly is what is the technicality and adaptability, right? Because every robot, they have features, and then they also have some limitation. And then bear in mind that if you take a look little bit on the historical part, the robotic as a tools is born from the military, right? From the military industry. Then it's grow to a medical, if you heard about the medical robot application, then grow everywhere across manufacturing, industry. So of course, from us, we should not afraid with the present of the robot. We should capitalize the opportunity. So that's the main message. And then currently, what does the future look like for a drone, for a ROV, for the land, ground, robotic application? As you can see over here in your right side, the trend, the demand for the drone especially are increasing very massive, right? It can be used everywhere and benefiting our day-to-day operation or day-to-day activity. So the way we see, I and Mbak Yuni, we observe that the future of this robotic within oil and gas, energy are not far away from the current happening, right? So we expect to have more and more the integration of the AI, machine learning to the robot. We do believe that the cost, right, the cost to develop, to hire of this robotic technology will reduce over the time. And then we believe that the robot will become smaller and smaller, will become more intelligent, more reliable, and capable carrying out more tasks. And then I like Bapak Dr. Agus, a speaker very soon, and also Pak Dr. Oki Muraza, that we hope that with the spirit of today, Hari Pancasila, so hopefully there will be more made in Indonesia, robotic, hardware or robotic tools. So we also observe that hopefully the robot will produce a lot of data, right? So we observe that there will be a trend of the cloud computing and a software as a services and robotic as services, something like that. So now the last slide. What is the conclusion? What kind of trend and the future and what kind of anticipation that we need to do? First, as the general, the utilization of the drone robot in oil and gas are become increased, a significant step for the modernizing our field operation. It's not only ensuring, the safety, the integrity of our, facility, but also increasing the skill of our workforce. Of course, there is some competitions, right? Maybe in the near future, but we should not afraid with the present of the robot. We do believe that it can streamline the process and then give us more cost-effective operations. And then this industry are rapid, going, right? So we have seen more and more oil and gas robotic will be applied across the corner. And then for offshore oil and gas operation, the potential are really big. It's aligned with unmanned platform philosophy, right? IR 4.0, and it can reduce the overhead costs. So OPEX and safety requirements can be reduced with the present of the robot. But again, we need to balancing it with our workforce skill and also the benefit. So in the end of the day, we are here to reach the benefit of the robot for our operation, safety, and sustainability. By this, I conclude my presentation and I giving back the floor to Ibu Yunita to serve the next speaker. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very, very insightful presentation nih, Prof. Ardian ya. And you know what? I really like this presentation because it's really fit in 15 minutes. And I guess we all have the conclusions and intisari gitu ya from your presentation. So it's a good one. And Dr. Ardian is having a very generic about robotics in oil and gas industry. Now let's dig it more. From the second presentation will be delivered by Mr. Fadhilah. Dandi, would you share about Mr. Fadhilah?
He will share by himself, please, Mr. Fadhilah.
Oh, because I would like to introduce him to the audience
Okay,
first.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, and actually, robotic itself is really close to our life since childhood, right? And very familiar. Mainan apa namanya tuh mobil-mobilan remote control. And I also recall that I read the comics about Astro Boy, Atom Boy. You know, it's really close to us, but now it's getting real. Okay, our second speaker is Mr. Rian Fadhilah Hadi. He is currently a country manager in Terradrone Arabia with more than 10 years experience in drone industry. And as you can see, the professional background is very various from Asia, Southeast Asia to the Mid East, and also with various licenses and certifications. He is academic background, held a bachelor degree of engineering in aerospace engineering ITB in 2010 and held a master of business administration in ITB Indonesia 2018. Okay, so without further ado, Mr. Rian Fadhilah, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Mbak Yuni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Especially Pak Ardian, Pak Agus, Pak Oki, Mas Dandi, Mbak Yunita. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure and it's really an honor for me to be able to be here in this session. It's really an honor to be able to speak together with Pak Ardian and Pak Agus, actually. So, yeah, let me just quickly share my screen and then I will try to share more about drone practical use cases in oil and gas. By the way, just want to make sure my voice is clear, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, and just want to make sure again, you can see my screen?
Yeah, clear.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, maybe just a quick introduction again. My name is Ryan. I'm currently the country manager of Terradrone Arabia. I have been with Terradrone since 2019, and all of my career actually I spent in drone industry. Even in my final year of university, I have been involved in some projects related to drones, and somehow the timing is really perfect. I mean, a drone starting to boom, especially in Indonesia in the late of 2014, 2015, right? And I was involved a lot, especially in the how to bring these drones to be to have a practical use cases, especially in oil and gas. So you can see actually I have some practical experience, working under Teradrone, but working with our customers like with Chevron Pacific Indonesia, and then with ExxonMobil Indonesia, and then with Medco. And in the Middle East right now, I'm pretty much involved with our projects in ADNOC as well as in Saudi Aramco. So in this session, I would like to bring more practical use case just to give a better picture, because I believe, as you have seen from the presentation, shared by Rian, that, it's really right now, it's really happening. I mean, robotics, drones, and all of these unmanned systems are really helpful and providing a lot of benefits, especially in oil and gas. So that's why I just want to share our experience, share my view as well, so that we can get a better picture on, how this can be really beneficial for the users or for the end users. And just a quick introduction also on the company. So we are from Terradrone. Terradrone is actually a global drone company from Japan. So we have our headquarters in Tokyo. And the company is still pretty young. So they just started in 2016. But right now we have these offices across the globe. So we have some operations or some offices in Southeast Asia, mainly focusing on oil and gas as well as agriculture. And then we have offices also in Europe, mainly focusing on inspections, especially in oil and gas. And right now, just recently, actually, we just opened this office in Saudi Arabia. So this Terradrone Arabia is actually still very young, only 1 year old. And the reason why we opened this office in Saudi is because in 2023, Saudi Aramco made an investment to our mother company in Japan. And as part of this investment, we are committed to localize our service so that it will be available in Saudi. And on top of that, we are also having a plan to open our R&D as well as a production facility. And what we do as a company is mainly we provide drone as a service. So whether it's for survey, inspection, surveillance, and any other drone use cases. And then on top of that, we also provide the infrastructure of urban air mobility, including as well the providing initiative related to drone delivery and logistics. And before I go further, just want to make sure to the participants, is there anyone have been flying drones so far? Is there any drone pilot here? Just try to raise your hand or, you know, uh, uh, okay. We have one here, Angel from ITV. Is there any other one? If not, I really encourage you to, to try because it's really happening. I mean, not only from the recreational point of view, but even for the professional point of view, as you already seen also in the presentation of Ardian. I mean, it's really happening a lot, or even Bauki also mentioned in Pertamina, there are some initiatives also that involve drones, right? So I really encourage for anyone, because right now I can also inform that drone pilot is really demanded in the market, especially in the Middle East, because especially for Indonesian pilot, because in Indonesia, where I see drones already been there for quite some years, so a lot of people are having experience, and it's pretty easy to fly drones, and so that you can get a practical experience easily compared to pilots in the Middle East, because here to fly drones is very difficult, it's very tough, a lot of permitting applications we need to apply, blah blah blah. So that's why um, it's very exhausting, but then it's really needed. So that's why I really encourage for anyone to start exploring about the drone and how you can use it for your professional career. So yeah. Um, Okay. So actually, when we talk about drones, we have really a various model of drones. I mean, like when we talk about drones, it's not only about the drones that is small and you can use it for, making like um, Insta stories or YouTube videos. But then right now, actually, we have a lot of drones that can be used also in professional manners. And either it's a small one or a big one, either it's a multi-copter or even a fixed wing. Even though actually there is a correct terms for each this type of drones, but then at the end, people just call it as drones. And really, right now, all of these drones are available in the market, and all of these drones are being used for their particular cases, and it's really helpful for especially for each domains. And when we talk about drones, actually, as I mentioned earlier, there are some correct terms, but anyway, it's really technical, so I don't really encourage you to 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 read this one, but I just want to make sure that I just want to mention that drone is there, and it's already being used a lot in many industries. So actually, not only in oil and gas, but also even in construction, infrastructure, and in power and utilities, in mining, agriculture, and others. And the trend is still there. I mean, like right now, even though we have been uh, seeing drones for quite some time, it has been used in many use cases, but the use case is still growing, and the technology is also growing very fast. So that's why it's a really right time actually if you're interested in drones to try to include it as part of your skill. And when you talk about drones, also there is actually already clear categorizations on the classification based on its weight. So we have some drones are very small, less than 250 grams. So it's very small, but it's useful for specific use cases. And then after that, we have also some drones that is larger than 150 kgs. So these large drones are actually mainly being used for delivery, like logistic purpose, but then it can also be used for surveillance. But most of the drones that are being used in industries are actually these two. So micro and small drones. So usually the drone is having weight between 250 grams to 25 kg. So it's considered as, they call it in a formal terms as small unmanned aircraft system or SUAS. And most of the countries already have a specific regulations on that. And it has been used because it is really versatile, so you can play around with the payload, you can play around with the model, so that it can serve you with a specific purpose. And also in terms of the model and the characteristics, there are also some categories. But then I think it's a bit too technical. I will not touch about that. What I would like to share more here is actually about applications again, as the title of my presentation. So I would like to focus more on the practical use cases, right? But before that, I just want to explain. So actually, when we talk about applications of using drones, we can split into three main categories. The first one is on the right, you can see this is where we use drones to do sensing. So what I mean by sensing is basically the drone's main role is to collect data. And when I talk about collecting data, then it means that we can use it for inspections or for surveillance or even for survey and mapping. And this is, we can use any kind of payloads. So for example, like inspections, as simple as we take pictures of the oil and gas equipments, and based on these pictures, we can already identify if there is any damage or if there is any cracks or corrosions or anything. Even right now, inspections, we can include also NDT inspection by using drones. So we can easily do thickness measurement by using UT or by using EMAT, or even we can also measure the thickness of the coating easily by using drones. So that when we talk about inspections on oil and gas equipments during shutdowns, then this practice will be able to eliminate the requirements to erect scaffold, so that it will save a lot of time. It will also save a lot of cost, and it will be able to shorten the shutdown period, especially when we talk about inspection scope. And then surveillance as well, as Ardian also already mentioned, right now actually there are some fixed-wing drones that we can fly for more than 100 kilometers, so that pipeline surveillance become very practical, or even for emergency response or oil spill response, or other applications related to surveillance and security patrol. And then the last one, survey and mapping. This is also very useful, especially when we talk about explorations. And I mean, the survey and mapping can easily help the seismic activities. And then we can also do some environmental mapping to identify if there is any impact related to environment and other stuff. So this first category, sensing, is something that has already been there and it's already been used for quite some time. But again, the use cases are still expanding. The second one is we can also use drones to manipulate the conditions. So what I mean by manipulate is the drone will act as a robot. So not only it collect data, but also it can do something. So for example, like it can do spraying, or it can do cleaning and blasting, as Ardian mentioned also in his presentation. And then some drones also equipped with robotic arms, so it can do some simple repairs. I mean, I believe you saw like um, YouTube video where people use drones to change the light bulbs, right? I mean, it's just a joke, but then actually in a professional manner, it can be used also for a real thing. So that's the second one, manipulating. And the third one is we can also use drones to transport something, either transport of goods in regards to logistics and delivery, and also transport of passenger. I believe you also heard about the air taxi. Even in Indonesia, our government already working with Hyundai to avail this air taxi in the new capital city, IKN, right? So that later if you arrive in IKN, then if you want to travel anywhere, then air taxi will be one of the options that you can take. And yeah, in terms of data, as I mentioned earlier, actually we have a lot of options that we can use. So not only visual picture, but also multispectral imagery, thermal imagery, UT inspections, even some geophysical sensors right now can be equipped also in drones, so that we can get a magnetic reading or even radargram from georadar and other stuff. And in terms of application, I just want to share about the latest survey that is conducted by one of the market intelligence company in Europe. Right now, actually, when we talk about drones, most of the applications are mainly related to mapping and surveying, especially in the construction and infrastructure, because this is where the main benefit can be obtained by drones. But then you can see inspection is also there, and this inspection is actually mainly happening in oil and gas. And then also in 2023, there is a survey to show the number of flight hours. So as you can see, actually right now, most of the drones flight are happening in China, and then second one is USA, and then third one is in Europe. and the fourth one is in the Middle East, even though there is no data here yet, and including in Southeast Asia as well. So why China is so big? Because in China, really, drone is used everywhere. Even you know, in China, you can order KFC and it will be delivered by using drones, and it has been happening for years. I mean, it's not like only last year, no, but they already do it from 5 years ago. So that's why, in China, we see a lot of drones flying, even in entertainment as well. The drone show, when the drone can make flying together so that they can show a shape of dragons or this kind of stuff. So that's why China is actually there, and to fly in China is pretty easy. So that's why the number of flight hours in China is really huge. And second one is USA because of the size of the business, size of the economy, and the third one is in Europe. And most of the countries that have a lot of flight hours is mainly driven by the ease of regulations. I mean, in US, in China, and also in Europe, it's pretty easy to fly. But then in other countries, actually, it's still pretty difficult. But we see that this is expanding. I mean, in terms of flight hours, actually, in other regions, trying to also catch up. So that's why it's really interesting right now to see how drones will be helpful in most of the industries. And then when we talk about drone companies, also maybe 10 years ago, we only have, I don't know, 100, 150 in total. But then right now, there are more than 2,000 drone companies available in the world. In Indonesia only, we have more than hundreds, whether companies focus on developing the hardware or focus on providing the services. But then just want to show you again the growth of the industry. And, definitely it's there because it's driven by the market demand. I think I was okay. So when we talk about applications in oil and gas, I will be very specific here. So in oil and gas, we can split mainly into 4 categories. The first one is activities related to inspections, and the second one is activities related to survey and mapping. And then after that, we also have activities related to environmental monitoring. And the last one is activities related to surveillance. For inspection, what we can do is, I think I already shared earlier, the drone can easily take pictures, whether it's visual or it's thermal, and then it can also do NDT inspection at the moment. And applications, we can do flare online, and then we can do any vertical structures basically. And then we have applications also on confined space, so we can send drones to go inside a storage tank or to go inside a boiler or any other confined space so that it can tackle any work safety issues easily. So one of the examples of using drones in inspection is to do this visual inspections on a flare. And as you can see, drone can easily get details because most of the drones that is used for inspection, it is equipped with an ultra zoom camera. So it can zoom up to 200 times, so you can get all the details required. And then another example is we can use drones also for UT inspection like this. So the drone needs to be in contact, but then it can measure all the points easily so that we can eliminate the requirement of scaffold. And then the third one is the confined space. We can easily send drones inside the storage tank, and the drone is equipped with laser so that not only it can get the visual data, but it can also get the 3D model of the storage tank. So if we find any findings, then we can understand exactly where the location is. And then after that, for surveillance, this is mainly related to security patrol. One of the examples, we are doing this right now in ADNOC on a regular basis, is we use our drones to do pipeline surveillance so that we can easily identify if there is any oil leak or if there is any encroachment or if there is any findings that we need to identify during our patrol. And also it can be used for oil spill response. So the drone can help the crisis center or crisis management team to see the information from above, which will help a lot in getting understanding of the situational awareness. And then after that, we also have the survey and mapping. This is mainly related to topographic survey. So whether it's for explorations, to help the seismic activities, or to do pre-construction survey, that we can do this as well. One of the examples, actually right now, it's really easy to do topographic survey by using drones, and we can equip not only with a camera but also with laser, so that at the end we can get this kind of data, which is really helpful for design or for site planning or for any other related activities to pre-construction, exploration, seismic, and other activities as well. And the last one is related to environmental monitoring. So the drone can be equipped with some specific sensors like multispectral camera or even with gas sensor. And what it can do, one of the use case is to use drones to do emission monitoring as well as gas leak detection. So the idea is to attach the drone, a gas sensor to a drone, and then the drone, we will program it so that it can fly automatically. And at the end, what we get is the measurement of concentration of each gas, either it's greenhouse gases or methane or even hazardous gases. And then after that, we can further assessment. We can do further analysis to ensure that it can comply with any environmental regulations or for example like with OGMP or with LDAR or any other standard. So that's pretty much of it that I can share. If you are interested to understand further about what drones can do to help your operations, then actually our office in Indonesia, Teradrone Indonesia, we have a Teradrone Academy. We provide a regular training, either related to certifications or just general information about what drones can do. So I encourage you guys, if you are interested further, that you can follow or you can check our website. You can also follow our social media. And actually, in the upcoming week, we will have one training program already. This is a regular one. We usually do it on a monthly basis. So if you guys are interested, then feel free to follow. And yeah, I hope it opens for interest from you, especially to know that drones right now really, as I mentioned earlier, drone pilot is highly demanded, especially in Middle East. We have some Indonesian pilot working in Abu Dhabi, in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, and other countries in the region. So it's really a good timing actually if you want to explore further. So I think that's pretty much of it that I can share. And thanks so much for the time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rian. So this is really insightful as well, yeah. So I recall that when I saw your presentation slide that most of China mainland has quite a big usage of drone, and I also
That
saw
is true.
in some of maybe TikTok, yeah, there's a like GoFood, yeah, delivered by the drone. That was true,
That is
right?
true, yes. I mean, in
So
China, it's happening. In Indonesia, not yet. I believe it's only a
not
gimmick,
yet.
but in China, it's really happening.
Yeah. It will be really grateful if we had the drone can be as a transport for the kids to go to school. Really helpful. Anyway, let's not discuss about that for now. I would also have a wrap up after the third presentations, although I have a lot of questions as well and also want to discuss more to Mr. Rian. But for now, let's go to the last presentation. Mas Rian, once again, thank you. Yeah. So
My pleasure.
our last speaker will be Dr. Agus Budiyono. He will give insightful review of unmanned marine vehicle technologies for oil and gas industries. And I would like to introduce you, Prof. Agus. Do you have would you like to share? Okay. So just a brief, Dr. Agus Budiyono or Choi, it's okay. But I'm gonna call you Prof anyway, okay? And
You can call me, by my nickname. It's okay.
Okay, Prof. So he's got a lot of experience. He is currently a founder of CAP Solutions, co-chairman of ICTE, Indonesia Center for Technology Empowerment, and currently president of International Society of Intelligence of Unmanned System, or ISIUS, and various foreign professors experience in Korea and also in Australia in aerospace and aviations, and a lot of experience actually. And he has Bachelor of Engineering in Aero and Astro. No. First, Aero and Astro MSc in MIT, and Engineer in Aero and Astro in 2000 in MIT as well, and a Doctor of Engineering in 2007 in Aerospace Engineering ITB. So, Prof. Agus, without further ado, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yunita. I think that first of all, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Very nice morning here in Bandung. I hope that's also very nice down in the SPE location in Saudi Arabia too. Good morning, Pak Oki, and also Pak Rian, Dr. Ardian, and also Mas Dandi. I think it's partly also a ITB reunion because most of the committee are alumni from ITB, but it's okay. And then also maybe today is a special day because it's a Pancasila Day, and I think I took a note from Dr. Ardian presentations that hopefully with that spirit, actually we can promote the local technologies. And so that's with that as a start, I would like to present my material. It's actually very hard to present the 2-semester material into just 15 minutes. So that's very difficult task actually, but I will try my best. Okay, let me share my screen. I hope it can be shown properly here. Is it already there?
Yes, you can see.
Okay, and then later I might have some videos just to illustrate some of the materials. So my talk will be a slice of what Dr. Ardian elaborate in his presentations. There are unmanned ground vehicles, there are aerial vehicles, and then also underwater vehicles. I will stress out later why underwater is the most challenging and the most difficult. I've been doing all the 3 modes, but I found that if you can do underwater, actually you can pretty much do other modes quite easily. And I will explain about the reason. There is no formula in my presentations, so you don't need to take a note. And maybe later, actually, Bu Yunita will have a game where you can ask question, and the best question will have prize. Okay, so there is no quiz for my presentation. Okay, Bu Yunita already introduced, but there is this QR code. If you would like to connect with me through LinkedIn, you can. So you can scan, and then you can have my LinkedIn page. If you can, if you would like to connect, you can request for connections. That will be fine. Most of my papers are in the area of unmanned system, and maybe a third of that papers is in the area of underwater vehicles. So this is something that I will share today. It's quite a pleasure for me. So there are 3 main areas or 3 main message that I will deliver this morning. First is about design approach for the unmanned vehicles or unmanned marine vehicles. And then the second message is about the navigation, guidance, and control of this type of vehicles. And primarily what makes the unmanned underwater vehicles different from those of the ground and aerial vehicles. And then maybe in the remaining minutes, I will share about the application in oil and gas industries. So there are many types of design approach. If you can see in the picture, it's a torpedo-like. So most of the ROV might looks like that originally, but then also you can have other types of design. For instance, a biologically inspired designs. So some of the UUV or unmanned underwater vehicles is in the form of dolphins. Some of them is designed to mimic fish. Okay, one of my paper published maybe a long time ago was about the robotic fish, and then it will be related to how it moves. So it's the modes of locomotion. So that's something that I will talk in this next slide. And then there is a squid-like or octopus-like UUV, that's soft body design capable of complex, maneuvers and then multi-degree motion in confined spaces. This is, useful when you need to do surveillance, underwater surveillance. For instance, cave navigation. And then another design approach is surface craft or USV. It's useful for the ISR, the surveillance and reconnaissance, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. That's also useful for the harbor patrol and then for the ASW support. The last one is the hybrid or modular. It's combine multiple forms, reconfigurable based on mission profile. So this is also very useful for the research platforms and for the swarm operation. I mentioned about how the UUV move. Okay, so primarily in the early days, pretty much people rely on propeller. So it's a propeller base and it's traditional rotary thrusters. That is efficient for long endurance missions. For instance, if you would like to cover a long distance for many kilometers, then you would like to rely on propeller. Second one is jet propulsion. That's good for quiet and fast acceleration. And then the third one is something I mentioned earlier when people try to mimic the motion of the fish. Basically, they simulate the fin motion. So the method is undulating fin motion. This is good for the high maneuverability and low disturbance. And then the next one is pulse propulsion. It's also biologically inspired, especially by squids. And the locomotion is done through pulse water ejection. And it is good, or it is advantageous if you need an agile maneuver, and also you need to have an operation in the confined spaces. And then another one is the biohybrid. This soft actuation uses soft robotic for flexible movement. And this is ideal for some kind of stealth and sensitive missions, military missions. And then the last one is sail, wind, or solar driven. And then this is the eco-friendly long endurance unmanned marine vehicle. So it can operate not only days, but sometimes months and even years. Okay, without the need for the fuel, because it's having the characteristic of energy harvesting from the environment. Now, I created this table for your ease in absorbing this knowledge. So basically, it's a comparison between all those locomotions. The comparison is done for the three criteria: for the speed, for the agility, for the energy efficiency. So you can see here clearly between propeller base and pulse jet or undulating fin, you can see the contrast. Propeller base is great for the speed and energy efficiency, but is disadvantage for the agility. And then if you have the fish-like motion, so your locomotion is based on the fin motion, for instance, then your speed is not that great, it's not that good, but your agility is best. And also the same thing you can see for the pulse jet or the squid-like motion, your agility is best, but your energy efficiency is decreased. Okay, so then I will move into the second part of my primary message this morning. It's about the underwater navigation, and then it's in one package with guidance and control. So what makes the underwater operation different from the aerial and from the ground modes? So first of all, there is no GPS signals. So GPS signals do not penetrate water effectively. They actually degrades once you enter the water within a few centimeters. So, and then also in the underwater environment, you have a problem with signal attenuations. Electromagnetic signals like Wi-Fi and UWB and so on are rapidly absorbed by water, and especially in the seawater. And then you have another problem with visibility. Later, I will have a video showing that even when you have a camera, it is very hard to have meaningful data because typically underwater you don't have the environment like in a swimming pool. Typically the water is murky, and also sometimes you operate under the dark water environment. And then on top of that, there's a challenge due to the acoustic multipath and noise. So sound can propagate well, but reflects off surfaces. So that creates another problem coming from the ambiguities. And then still another problem is from the magnetic anomalies. Okay, so submerged metallic structures and geology can distort magnetic field readings. So that creates another difficulties when you operate underwater. And then lastly, but this is not last, there is this environmental currents. Okay, so constant motion due to currents and waves introduces positional drift. So in a sense, you need the navigational system that can tackle all these problems. And if I list these, typical navigational sensors that work well, for the aerial vehicles, for the drones, and for the ground robotics, they do not work underwater. Okay, so you can see in my table here, the satellite-based GPS, GNSS, and other satellite-based system is not working underwater. And then the terrestrial radio also is not operating. What you have is IMU or depth reckoning sensors, but also that's with the nodes, okay? Because as I mentioned before, that from your environment, your problem that create drifts, okay? So drift accumulate rapidly without corrections, okay? So other systems, vision-based like camera, okay, that works partially. Now, when you have a dark and murky water, you need to have another system, that needs to be integrated, that will work for you. LiDAR base is also not working, and magnetic navigation is limited. Now, the only navigation tools within your armament is the acoustic navigation. That is, in fact, the primary methods we can navigate underwater. The last row in my column, in my table, is the hybrid or fusion system. This is, in fact, the essential approach for navigating underwater. So you want to integrate between IMU or depth reckoning and other working sensors. So this is the summary. So IMU is one of the primary model for you, okay? And then you can equate with the DVL, and then depth sensor, and then there is another one, LBL or USBL, and there is a sonar, okay? And then the camera is limitation, but sometimes you need to use that when your operation needs to capture an image, okay, from the environment, okay. So this example of use, but I wouldn't go into detail because of the time limitation. So I'll just quickly, the typical UUV in the world, they will use this array of sensors, okay, to operate. And then again, the guidance, just quick summary. You need to start with the mission planning, and then you integrate between several navigation sensors like IMU, DVL, depth sensor, and then you have a sensor processing, sensor fusion, and then state estimation prior to designing your motion control. That is the typical guidance of UUV. Now, the control part, actually, once you have all the data from your sensors, then the control technology is pretty much quite mature. Some of you who studied controls in your colleague, you might have known about PID, maybe you learn about model predictive control, and then adaptive control, and then also fuzzy logic. I wouldn't go into details. These are something that you can utilize. Again, it's been a mature technology. Now, the last message is about the application of UUV in the oil and gas industries. Pak Rian already mentioned a number of them, and so I will just emphasize a few of them here. It can be used for the survey and mapping. It can be used for the inspection and maintenance, and then also for the construction support. For the inspection, one of the examples that I will show you is for the sedimentation detection. So other than that, you can also detect corrosion. You can detect cracks or leaks in the pipeline or other constructions. So let me check whether I can play this one. So these are one of our ROV, okay, designed by the Indonesian company. Let me quickly go over this one. So it's basically for doing the inside the pipe inspection, okay, and in particular to detect the sedimentation, okay. So as you see, the underwater environment is not so friendly, okay. It's murky and it's dark, and so you need to rely on a good sensor system to gain results. So in here, the finding is specific. So there is a light sedimentation, and the measured sediment thickness is approximately 1 centimeter. And so that's something that clients sometimes needs, okay, to check the viability of their construction. Okay. Next, other use or other application of a UUV in the oil and gas industry includes troubleshooting and intervention, and also environmental monitoring. And then the last one is about surveillance and security. So another just quick example, something that was also achieved by a company from Indonesia, and hopefully this technology can be utilized more within our own industry. It's the pipeline inspection and refinery unit 4 in Cilacap. Okay, So it's used by Pertamina, Chile. So this is the ROV Raja Ampat. Okay, I'll just quickly go over this one. Okay, so it can do the inspection underwater along a certain path. Okay, with all those navigation, guidance, and control that was also designed exclusively by our own engineers. Okay, so of course I observe what happens in the unmanned industries in in our region, in Japan, in China. Okay, and I'm hoping, I sincerely hope that there are more players from Indonesia for our own industry. So these are the benefits of UUV applications. Sometimes you cannot send divers to do some of the deep water operations, so you need to send UUV. So this is definitely enhance safety for the operation, and then of course also increase operational efficiency, reduce cost overall, also improve data quality and frequency of monitoring, because you can send the robots frequently. Okay, and also it's capable of operating in the deep water and harsh condition that is otherwise impossible for human to go. So last slides is the trend. I think that Pak Aryan also and also Pak Ardian already mentioned there is this trend for using the machine learning and also AI, and then sometimes you integrate several vehicles together, forming the swarm. So there's swarm robotic development, and then advanced sensors miniaturization. So as you can see that some of our design UUV is also quite small, it's portable. That's thanks to the miniature sensors. And also there is the trend for the energy efficient propulsion. And then lastly is improved communication development that enable you to operate deeper. Now, still there are challenges. Let me just go over this quickly. There is a challenge for achieving reliable long-term autonomy. Okay, that's one. And then robust communication, overcoming limitation of underwater communication channels, whether it is bandwidth, range, and interference. And then there is also a challenge for the long-term operation. You need to have the energy management system that works for you. And then regulatory compliance, that is something that is also one of our homework in Indonesia, especially. And then human-robot collaboration. Pak Rian mentioned about the training of the human, but the human needs to also work collaboratively with the robots. Okay, so that is the challenges. And lastly is about cybersecurity, protecting underwater vehicles and their communication networks from cyber threats. Last but not least, of course, this event happens because of the initiative from Dr. Ardian and team, and I again really appreciate for the invitation. We, I think, need to work together, and I would like to bring your attention also for the inline events that will happen also this year in August. So if you are interested later, of course, you can contact me. And I hope that we can work together for the advancement of the unmanned vehicles technologies in Indonesia. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. So for me, underwater technology is really rare because my background is RE, right? So it's quite far, and it's really interesting to know more about your stuff. Maybe after this Q&A, we can also gain the information from there. Okay, once again, thank you so much, Prof. Agus. And before we're going to the Q&A session, let me have a quick wrap up from the content from today. So, okay, so let me share again our root cause why this robotics is getting important and it's getting here, because we would like to, because it's like an increasing complexity in many sectors in oil and gas industry, and therefore we need more efficient and effective solutions to have been driven the development of the new tool sets using robotics, including drones and ROVs. And all the operations includes across the sea, land, and air. And we have to remember that our land in Indonesia is also surrounded with waters, so also air. So that means a lot of opportunity for us to have more technologies in there. And quoting from Pak Oki Muraza and also from Prof. Ardian, Mr. Rian, and Prof. Agus, that the benefit of robotics and autonomous system includes to the enhancement of efficiency in many sectors. We call it in safety, drilling, production, and operational efficiency. We can also use the autonomous system in the repetitive task and can minimize downtime to optimize the workflow, to optimize the business workflow. And overall, really can be beneficial for unmanned platform maintenance and also inspection, for surveillance, mapping, environment monitoring, and construction supports. And third is utilizing data-driven decisions. And the benefit of this robotics also, we can follow global regulations to support the sustainability. So we know more about the carbon footprint reductions to monitor the emissions. And the biggest challenge of this new technology is, of course, because it's still quite rare in Indonesia, is the cost. The challenge is the high cost. We also have the skill gaps, the automation impacts, and also the technology adaptability. But however, the opportunity is there, is here and there, here and there. We just need to collect. And I guess we can also, like why this technology is costly, because, the supply and demand, maybe the demand is still low, but if we can have the local technology, and as I'm quoting from Prof. Ardian as well, that today is Hari Lahirnya Pancasila. Maybe we can enhance that in the local manufacturing in robotics. Because of that, maybe potentially can increase our economy and new jobs for many people. As you know, in social media kan rame ya about the banyak layoffs and stuff. Maybe this is something that potential to support Indonesian's economy. And lastly, this first webinar actually the most important is to raise awareness for students and maybe the young professionals in petroleum engineering industry that our industry is not stuck in the classical petroleum engineering, reservoir engineering classical or production classical, but we have plenty of job to do aside from that. So please, for the participant who's still in the university, please study more, not only the what university teach us, but please enhance more outside from the petroleum engineering classical. Okay, so for that, I close my wrap up and open for the Q&A session. However, let's start from the chat first, ya. Sebentar. Okay. Let me check. Okay, so we have a question from Muhammad Humam from Pertamina University. So let me read it loud and clear. Dear two amazing speakers, the question is how to overcome internet connectivity issue in offshore areas for the integration of drones with AI, which require network stability. Okay, so let me start from, Prof. Ardian belum join lagi ya?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So Prof, boleh? So after Prof.
Yeah, sure.
Ardian.
Yeah. All right. Maybe later, Rian and also Dr. Agus can, answer this much better than me. In principle, the question is very good. I'm very proud with the student from Pertamina University. So let me repeat again his questions. He asked how to maintain the connectivity, right? Because some of the drones or let's say a unmanned vehicle at the ocean or subsea are really need to transfer the data, right? Real-time information and so on. That was correct. There's the two things, of course. In Indonesia, we have plenty reputable telecom company that can support these interconnectivity, of course, like a 4G, 5G, right? And then there is a recently, Elon Musk, he provided Starlink across area of Indonesia. But I think the technology is there, and then it's not only the let's say the connectivity, but also the IP and also the hardware itself, right? So does it really compatible? Does it really receive a high quality an information? Does this also provided with the database, right? So the database such as cloud, for example, it can also provide a seamless transferring, storing the data, right? So I think the question is very valid. That's my answer. We are using the local connectivity or such as a satellite, a Starlink connectivity, but not only that, but including the storing the data. Maybe Rian and also Dr. Agus has more a practical answer. Feel free. Thank you so much, Ibu Uni.
Thank you, Bang. Okay, Mr. Rian or Prof. Agus?
Mungkin saya boleh tambahkan sedikit, Pak Agus,
Boleh.
mohon izin. Yes.
Sikat.
Mungkin actually it's already been answered by Pak Arif ya. Also Pak Ardian already mentioned one of the ways to set up private 4G or 5G connections in the offshore environment. But on top of that, especially for drones, actually the default communication between the remote controller or the controller itself with the drone is going through radio, RF. So that's why actually there is no need to have any, how to say, 4G or 5G. And then for the AI itself, it can be deployed on the edge. So actually, most of the recent drones are capable of doing the AI within the drone itself. So they already installed this, on edge capability to do AI, or at least it can also be done on the controller side. So in most of the cases, based on our experience, actually no need to set up any sophisticated system to deploy AI by using this edge capability on the drone or even on the ground controller. And we can set up the systems on premise, then the AI can be handled. Especially when we are talking about, for example, like computer visions and this kind of stuff. But if let's say what it is needed is to stream or to provide the live stream from the offshore to the command center on the ground. For example, like the command center is located in the office, then definitely an internet connection or intranet connection is needed. But then if it is not needed, then we can just do everything on prem.
Okay, Mas Rian, thank you for the insight. Prof. Agus, do you want to add
I think
more?
it's enough.
Or-
Yeah, Mas
enough,
Ren
yeah.
already answered all the
Right.
necessary information. Yeah, so you don't always need to process, externally. So sometimes you can have an onboard processing. So that will be the primary answer. So meaning when your internet connection is not that excellent or that good, then you can still operate. So it's the onboard processing system that is now is available, I think, with the current technology.
Okay, thank you, Prof. So, Mas Umam, hopefully that answers your questions, yeah, loud and clear. Ya dong, oke lah. Okay, so let's go to the next questions. Yeah, actually in chat there's quite a long from Mbak Leli Setianingrum STTAL. She got two questions. First, regarding for the implementation about the technology, how about development regulations until now and beyond? Because for technology, it is really important as base for the implementation. So about the regulations, and the second, the use of drone of underwater technology is used example for research and it must to cross border another country. Is there any laws for our knowledge? Okay, so I guess Mas Rian or Mas Agus duluan, Prof. Agus.
Oke, saya mungkin sedikit ya. Okay, so I think about the regulations. When you operate drones, whether it is aerial or underwater, of course, cross-border or cross-country is quite sensitive. So even, in fact, for a small country like Singapore is already, I think Mas Rian knows this, to operate UAV is quite restrictive, okay, because now there's an issue with the integration between the unmanned or drone system to the manned area. Okay, so for the airspace, so that is quite sensitive, and in fact, in our case, it is still, I should say, rather underdeveloped. Okay, in Indonesia, we still need more regulation about that, how to integrate between the unmanned aerial vehicle space and the manned airspace, because that is related to safety. Okay, and for the underwater is similar, and I think I wrote maybe 5 years ago in Compass about the operation of the scientific buoys. Okay, quote unquote scientific. So there are literally hundreds of buoys that were released by the US NOAA. This is for the research and for the scientific purposes, for say for the environment. But of course, what happens if you are working in the drone technology? Once you release the buoys and you have sensors, you can, map something, from the environment. And, who knows whether you use it for the scientific or for your research or for something else. Okay, that's what needs, attention from all of us. Meaning that we really need to understand the technology, its use and its impacts. That's one. And secondly, we need to be players. We need to be a player, not only a user. If you are just a user, then someone else might be using their drones already in your environment under the umbrella of scientific and research missions, but actually gaining the data from your environment. Okay, this is something that I would like to, call for the attention from everyone here. Thank you.
It's totally agree, Pak. Because if you follow also, I mean, in regards to drones right now, also in regards to the tariff war or even just a trade war between US and China, actually, most of the Chinese drones are right now banned, especially for governmental use in US. And the reason is because, they accuse that, these Chinese drones are equipped with some
Chips.
I don't know how to say it, but then I mean, somehow in regards to the data sovereignty, confidentiality, it's something that I'm not sure whether our government in Indonesia already having a concern about, but it's really true. I mean, even though as for example like us, what we do is we operate drones, that we provide services, and we try to follow all the books, right? we make sure that, okay, this is really for example, scientific purpose or for industrial purpose. But then as long as we are still using these drones coming from other countries, then we don't know, there might be some backdoors or something like that. But then I would like to address in regards to development regulations. Actually, what I see right now in some countries, they have this sandbox, but
Okay.
the government, for example, like in Malaysia, in Singapore, even in Saudi Arabia, they started to deploy a sandbox environment with the main objective to support the development, right? Because they know regulations usually come at the last, right? I mean, the technology will be growing, and then at the end, government will try to catch up to follow the technology, right? So that's why to address this issue, most of these countries they set up an official sandbox so that everyone can be involved. What I mean by sandbox is actually it's an environment where regulations can be breached, but then in a responsible manner, right? So that government can easily catch up with the regulations, working together with all the players, and then it will be easier for them to manage. So that's one thing that I can see. And second one, also across the border for drones specifically, is very difficult. I mean, I don't think it's allowed at the moment because for drones, since it's still considered as a new technology by most of the countries, by most of the governments, so they are very strict. So that's why flying across border is something that is not feasible at the moment. But then there is another concern, which is what about if we fly in the international water, for example, especially if we are doing offshore, right? It's another thing that is currently still being discussed. I mean, it's not yet concluded. But then I think at the end, when let's say there is a use case where we need to fly drones in FPSO in an international water, then usually the responsible party will be the end user, since there is no regulatory body that regulate that part of area, right? So that's another thing that is still not yet clear, but then I believe in the upcoming years it will be decided.
Oh, exciting. Another homework for us, for everyone related to the sector, yeah. Interesting. Okay, Bang Ardian, would you like to add more or just okay with two answers, Bang?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the explanation from Dr. Agus and Rian already very detailed, but I do agree that a lot of homework need to be completed, right, by our government to ensure that let's say the platform are ready to support any robotic technology application. Of course, in Indonesia, for example, maybe Ministry of Transportations, right, Pak Rian, who are maybe responsible for drone, and then there is some related applications and regulation, of course, for each country, right? Maybe for the drone is the flight zone restriction, right? And then the permit and approval and so on. I think I learned from Pak Rian, also Pak Dr. Agus. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, this gives me sounds like a plan to invite someone from the transportation ministry and just give a good conversation between us. Well, anyway. Okay, thank you for all of the good answers. Satisfying one. Should be Mbak Lila ya. Mbak Leli. Okay. Next question from Pak Sugeng. Pak Sugeng Riono, please kindly explain robotic implementation in methane emission.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sami-sami. Implementation in methane emission of oil and gas operations. Siapa mau duluan? Mas
Boleh
Rian?
aku nih?
Oh, Bang, siap Bang.
Yeah. So I did this before. Thank you so much, Dr. Sugeng, my senior in oil and gas, industry and community. Thank you so much, Pak Dr. Sugeng. So the question is very valid. What kind of technology to support the methane emissions monitoring? So basically within our SPE first, okay, SPE. So we have our sister, which is a technical section specialized in methane emissions management. We call it a SPE, methane emission management technical sections. So the chair are Mrs. Laura from Colorado School of Mine. So in principle, I do believe that based on my experiences so far, we are using a drone or maybe satellite, other technology, of course, which has special sensors, Pak Sugeng, to really monitor, the methane emission, either fugitive leaking or continuous, for example, flaring or on-off a methane release from venting, right, from our operations in oil and gas upstream. So there is a specialized sensor. We call it, for example, a diode, a laser absorption spectroscopy. So that's one of the sensor. Another sensor are also based on the infrared, right? Infrared camera or thermal electrochemical metal oxide sensor, something like that. So drone has a capability. Pak Rian will explain hopefully later. But you're right. Right now, drone application is not only supporting the operations, but also including safety and also environmental. Thank you so much, Pak Sugeng, for your question.
Okay.
Yes, if I may add, Pak Dian. So actually, from our side, we believe either drone or even UUV or either unmanned system, it's just a vehicle. Right? At the end, we will rely on the payload or on the sensors to serve the requirements. Right? And as Pak Din already mentioned, actually, there are some sensors available at the moment. The most practical one is the gas sensor, just like the H2S sensor that you use when you enter a facility. So this one can be equipped in a ground robots or even drones easily. And we'll be able to program these drones or robots to move automatically to follow specific points so that we can collect this data. But on top of that, there are also some of the sensors, for example, the TDLAS, the diode laser, sensor, which we can use either for, how to say, in contact or even remotely. And then there is also OGI. And I think the most recent one, people are trying to focus more on the acoustic imaging to try to capture these cases. So from drone point of view, what we do is mainly to help on the on the monitoring side by attaching this sensor to the drone so that we can easily move around within the facility and especially in the hazardous area so that not there is no need to send anyone to those areas, and then we will just send the drones equipped with the sensors. Either we do it in contact or we do it remotely, and then at the end we collect all the data, and based on this data we can provide analysis. I mean, we had recently we had a case. We are helping a trial with Aramco. Actually, this is to evaluate the satellite, the GHG sat compared to the gas sensor attached to a drone, and then based on the evaluation, actually, at least from Saudi Aramco side, they accept the concept and the idea of using drones to measure these gases, so that it will be easier to manage. Because actually, right now, the biggest task I think before combating the carbon emission itself is to make sure that we can get the accurate measurement of the methane itself, and not only methane actually, including also greenhouse gases as well as the other hazardous gases. Right? So this is one thing that is currently getting popular, especially in drone domain, and the use case is expanding as well.
Thank you, Mr. Rian. More comments from Prof. Agus?
I think it's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's enough.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, actually, we still have like 6 to 7 questions left, and we don't have any time left since we still need the closing and also the winner announcement. So, do you have any opinion, Bang Ardian, Mas Dandi?
Yeah, maybe I can give first to Dr. Agus. Dr. Agus has a lot of experiences. Please, Dr. Agus, first, we would like to hear more from you. What kind of advice that you think, you have a great experiences, you have very strong academic background from MIT, from ITB. So any quick advice from our student how they need to pursue, how they need to develop the skills, in this unmanned robotic, and then maybe later Pak Rian. Oh, I'm very proud with Pak Rian. I met Pak Rian, Pak Dr. Agus, ladies and gentlemen, maybe around 5 years ago, right, Rian? So I was so happy. I was so proud that an Indonesian engineer, scientist, leading this drone technology, worldwide. So I will give my take after Dr. Agus and also Rian later. Please go ahead, Dr. Agus.
Okay, thank you very much, as Ardian. So first of all, again, I would like to appreciate this kind of initiative. I think we need more like this. Okay, maybe 100 times more. As you know, the situation in our country during the digital era, there isn't enough scientific content. Okay, so we need more like this, and we need to collaborate, beyond university borders. So I'm glad that we collaborate, Mas Ardian, from ITB, from UI, from UGM, later from other universities, from University Pertamina, and not only between universities, but also university-industry relation need to be strengthened. I think that is the primary feature of those advanced universities from developed nations. There is a strong ties between industry and university. And so for me, I think this event needs to be expanded. Okay, and then I welcome you all, the participants and also the committee, to work with our committee too. We organize the next conference. It's international conference on intelligent unmanned systems. So that is the conference that will combine all the ground, aerial, and underwater vehicles technologies. In 2 days we discuss about those technologies with fellow experts from all over the world. And secondly, I think that the inclusion of the local technology is a must, because we couldn't rely on foreign technologies. We need to develop local contents. And then maybe last but not least, I think it is very important to develop opportunities. So I think in one of the remarks, I think Dr. Oki and also Dr. Ardian mentioned that even right now there are many layoffs from developed nation, from big corporation like Apple or Facebook and so on. So in our country, we need to create opportunities out of these uncertain areas, eras. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Agus. Mas Rian, silakan Mas Rian.
Yes.
Atau tambahan kita Mas Rian.
Yes. Saya pertama, I really need to thank you for this opportunity. It's really an honor actually. Again, Pak Agus, Pak Dian, Mbak Yunita, Mas Dandi, dan teman-teman semua. So, from my side, actually, my main objective is to give inspirations on 2 things. The first one is, just to show that actually this new kind of technologies, either drones, unmanned systems, AI, or those fancy words, it's there not because of just for the sake of being there, but it's more on it really gives benefits, it really gives an advantage, and it really gives values to the users, right? I mean, we see that the use cases are expanding and technology is also growing. So we just need to make sure that we can catch up, right? And what I see also, especially in oil and gas, this industry is really the main driver, one of the main drivers of these solutions to be growing. Otherwise, it will stuck only on inside the laboratory, or it will not go anywhere from the university, right? So that's why the demand is there, the market is really there. So it's really good. And what I see also, this is actually the right timing, because most of these technologies are still in the early stage. So it's really the right timing, especially for those participants who have specific interest on AI or drones or unmanned systems, to be involved in the development. And I believe it will give a lot of benefits for you guys. And one thing also, I totally agree. I mean, it is mentioned several times about how we can be uh, uh, players also in our domain. I mean, like we know that these big names, for example, like SLB or TR and others, they are trying to introduce these technologies, but then actually there are still a chance for us to have our own and to introduce this to the world. I mean, for example, like what I'm doing here, even though I'm right now based in Saudi Arabia, but then I'm also trying to bring any technologies that we develop ourselves in Indonesia so that it can be adopted and it can be absorbed by the global market. I've been working with some of my friends having small companies, consultancy companies or technology companies that are in Bandung or in other regions in Indonesia to make sure that we can bring this, we can introduce this because we actually have a lot of advantage. We have a maybe we still have some homework, right, from the regulations point of view and this kind of stuff. But then in terms of technology, we have a chance really. So that it's a good practice actually to have these collaborations and to expand the network, to give chance for the local player not only to answer the needs from the local market but also to bring this to the global market as well. So that's my take. And last one, I believe there are still some questions, but then as Yunita already mentioned, we are running out of time. So from my side, feel free to reach out. Personally, I think later we can share our email or even our personal WhatsApp number. So if you still have any interest, then we can have another discussion outside the session. So again, thank you so much, and yeah, thank you so much.
Ya, for the unanswered question, please langsung directly ya, tanya ke sumbernya, silakan aja teman-teman sekalian. Mungkin dari Prof, do you have
Yeah.
closing remarks or?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Yunita, Dandi, my respected colleague, Dr. Agus, and also Mas Rian. Thank you so much, and to all of the participants too. It's an honor. We are making a history, right, Uni? So we are making a history. Two things. First, this is the first time in the history SPE, in Asia Pacific, not only in Indonesia, in Asia Pacific, we are leading conducting the robotic and autonomous, webinar. Number two, we also are celebrating the Hari Kelahiran Pancasila. So it's an honor to be here. So just to recap, this is not a traditional petroleum engineering. Remember, we need to enhance, the skills to the new era, to the new sustainability, more efficient oil and gas operation project and so on. So this is a really multidiscipline, right? A multidiscipline. We need to know about, the robotic and automation, autonomous. Typically, we are the user, right? The expert are coming, from someone like Dr. Agus and Rian. We need to learn more about, of course, the core of the sensors, the processing, right? The AI, machine learning knowledge. We also need to learn maybe a little bit skill about the data science, programming, and so on. So well done. Congratulations, Ibu Yunita and also Dandi, and also all of the colleagues from Indonesia. We make a history. Thank you so much. I wish all the best. And don't forget to follow up as an action. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, Bang, we're not done yet here because our Q&A sessions and closing remarks is completed. Now I hand over to Mas Dandi to close again the whole events and also the winner announcements.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Yunita, and to all our distinguished speakers for today's insightful presentations. Also, a special thank you and appreciation to all participants who submitted questions that we didn't have time to address. Your curiosity and engagement are truly valued, and we encourage you to stay connected with us for future discussions. And ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible session we have had today, from exploring the latest trend in robotics to understanding the practical application of drones and diving into the future of unmanned marine vehicles technologies in the oil and gas industry. On behalf of SPE Asia Pacific RAS, I would like to extend our deepest appreciation to Dr. Oki Muraza for inspiring opening remarks, Dr. Ardian Nengkoda, Mr. Rian Fadhilah, and Dr. Agus Budiyono for sharing your time and expertise, and of course to Ms. Yunita for expertly moderating these sessions. Would like to thank you for all the for Dr. Okimuraza. This is our certificate of appreciations as an opening speaker today. I think that Prof. Oki already having a break, and also we're gonna have to thank you for the as well for the Dr. Arnin Koda for the speaker today, and also for the Mr. Rian Fadhilah and Dr. Agus Budiyono. We really appreciate your time addressing for all the questions and technical presentations. And now it's time to announce the top 3 best questions from our Q&A sessions. We received so many thoughtful questions, but after careful review, here are our winners. First winners will receive an exclusive tumbler. Dang, dang, dang. I think it goes to Muhammad Humam Pertamina University. Please applause, Muhammad Humam. Are you here? All
Yeah.
right. The second winner is will receive a premium notebook. It goes to Miss Lely Setianingrum, STTAL. Please give applause, everyone. And the last one is the third winner will receive a special bag, and it goes to Dr. Sugeng Riono Lemigas. So congratulations to all winners. Our team will reach out you shortly regarding to your prizes. So before we close, we kindly ask everyone to turn your cameras on for a quick group photo. Let's capture this moment together. All right, we are waiting for you to turn on your camera. I just quick reminder also, please don't forget to fill out the attendance form shared in the chat. So your feedbacks help us to improve and bring even better events in the future. All right, everyone, we're gonna take the photo sessions. So the first slide. All right, I see everyone has turned on the camera. Some of us already turned on. Please, others, we are waiting. All right. I think some of us already ready for turning on the camera. We're gonna take the photo in 3, 2, 1 for the first slide. Keep smile. All right. The second slide. 1, 2, 3. The third slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, so once again, thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found the sessions insightful, inspiring, and forward-looking. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep pushing boundaries in energy innovations. Wassalamualaikum
Mantap.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye, everyone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. Mas Adit, jangan lupa merchandise-nya ya nanti Mas Adit ya.
Ya, siap.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you semua. Saya tunggu sampai kosong nih. Penjaga ruangan nih, Dan.
Yeah. How do you feel, Mbak? All good?
Alhamdulillah relief. Gue belum makan pagi loh. Udah makan pagi belum?
Gue dengan nge-snack aja tadi roti.
Gue semalam abis housewarming, makannya sampai jam 11 sih, jadi belum lapar juga. Udah pada live kan orang-orangnya.
Udah pada live ya.
Iya, pertanyaannya banyak tadi kan. Sudah, ya itulah. Ya itulah ya. Waktunya itu pasti pasti extend gitu.
Iya.
Tricky juga. Sebenarnya pertanyaannya bagus-bagus. Tadi kan gue scroll ke bawah tuh. Wah, bagus-bagus banget pertanyaannya. Banyak nih.
Keren-keren
Gitu
sih
deh.
tadi pertanyaannya.
Keren-keren nih ya. Jadi inspiring nih. Kita mungkin bisa next undang itu ya. Ministry Transportation ya.
Exactly.
Iya, benar-benar banget buat buka wacana aja entah tahun 2000 berapa implementation tapi ya kita set awareness aja gitu kan. Ada potensial teknologi lapangan kerja ya nggak sih?
Sure.
Something good gitu deh.
Investations kan.
Benar-benar. Siapa tahu dan di next menteri. Apa sih?
Udah, amin.
Oke lah kalau gitu. Kayak
Alright.
perlu makan dulu nih.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mbak Uni,
Bisa
everyone.
Bye. Assalamualaikum. Have
Bye-bye.
a good weekend.